What's going on, guys? Austin here, and in this video, we are going to be taking a look at the extra points lines of week 4. So, we're always going to start out with previous week's recap. What we've got right here, another average week. I got 3-3 overall this week. I'm really waiting on things to start clicking. I had a pretty bad beat against on the over for Minnesota versus Detroit. I think there was like 3 or 4 missed field goals in that game. And then the Commanders versus Eagles, just a pure miss. Chiefs versus Colts, it was a weird game, and again, just a pure miss. Which overall puts my season record at 9-10. I want to stay around 500 until I can really take off. I know it's going to get better. Don't worry. But we're taking a look at week 4. So my favorite bet of the week is the under on this Broncos versus Raiders game, under 45.5 points. It's a divisional game. It is one of the most struggling offenses with a great defense on the Broncos and a struggling offense and a good defense with the Raiders. This 45 seems disrespectfully high to the defenses for how well they've played so far this year. Broncos 2-1, Raiders 0-3. Neither of them have really looked good yet. Now the Broncos have statistically right now the best defense in the league, but they haven't faced great competition yet. I think they're probably going to be top 10, but there's a chance that the Raiders, can, start to piece some things together, and the Broncos do as well. But I just really don't see it happening. The pass rushes are too good for both teams. Plus, the Broncos have an amazing secondary, and the Raiders have all the weapons. Broncos, they're starting to get limited on weapons. Plus, neither of these head coaches so far have really been great at what they do, which is offense. So the under on this 45.5 it's a golden number. Now, the Browns -1.5 at the Falcons. I love this line because the Browns are coming off of a Thursday night football game. They might not have Myles Garrett, but it doesn't matter. The Falcons are coming off a road trip to Seattle, where they had a pretty great win. The Falcons are one of the more surprise teams in the NFL. They're 3-0 against the spread, and so I think they're in for a little bit of a letdown game here. I wouldn't be surprised, if the Browns win this game, by a touchdown. Next, I really like the under on the Bears versus Giants. I think this one's Bears at Giants, excuse me. So Bears at Giants, under 39.5. Both of these offenses are garbage, and both of these defenses are playing okay. There's really nothing more to be said about it. The Bears don't have a passing game, and they barely have a running game. If they do have a running game, it's spearheaded by Justin Fields and then 2 average at best running backs. And then the Giants, if they have an offense, it's Saquon Barkley and nothing else. As long as Roquan Smith is on the Bears, I don't think that Saquon is going to go off for 6 touchdowns. We'll see. But as long as that doesn't happen, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win this game 17-12. Next, I really like the Lions -4.5 at home against Seattle. This is my second favorite spread of the week. The Lions, they had a pretty unfortunate showing against Minnesota. They still covered the spread regardless. But I think the more and more that the Lions play football, the more they'll know what they are. They're not going to be a long field goal kicking team. That was something that they had struggles with. Austin Seibert against the Vikings. But more on top of that, they know that they can run the football, and they know that Jared Goff can throw and get the ball to his weapons. DeAndre Swift is a little banged up, but they have Jamal Williams, who's one of the best backups in the league, and they still have Amon-Ra St. Brown and DJ Chark and Josh Reynolds and can't even think of the other guy's name. But they've got enough depth as long as the stars stay healthy. Their offensive line didn't get banged up last week, so they're going to be healthier moving forward, which is going to be good for them. Now they are going to be missing a linebacker. Alex, I think it's Leatherwood. I'm not sure. Nah, Alex Anzalone, that's right. I don't know where Leatherwood came from. I think he's an offensive lineman. Either way. But I like the Lions to beat Seattle. Seattle has faced some middling teams that have been struggling. The Lions are far from a struggling team. They have the second most total touchdowns in the NFL, just behind the Ravens. They're tied with Lamar Jackson. So this line, Lions at home after a bad divisional loss, look for them to bounce back. And then I like the over in the Rams versus 49ers game, 42.5. Something that we know about Jimmy G is that, regardless of how comfortable he feels in the offense, we know that he's always going to beat up on the Rams. And I am not as big of a fan on this 49ers defense as some others are. I think they've got a good linebacker and a good defensive end. But after that, things are getting a little shaky. The Rams are due for a great offensive performance, and I don't see why it cannot be, this game against the 49ers, where the 49ers are actually favored by 1.5. George Kittle's healthy, Debo's healthy, Brandon Ayuk is healthy. Everything looks in place for these offenses to both hit the overs. The Rams defense has never been great at covering either Debo or George Kittle. So 42.5 for this over under to be lower than the Broncos Raiders over under is just ridiculous. I look for the Rams to maybe win this game, like 29-30 to like 27, something like that. Like I think we're gonna go over. But if you take a +3 teaser just on these three bets, so take the under on the Raiders Broncos. If it was under 42.5, the Browns +1.5 at the Falcons. The Bears versus Giants under 42.5. Lions it'd be -1.5 versus Seattle. These are really great lines, by the way, because so for the Browns and Falcons, for the Browns, the Falcons could end up, just losing by 1. The Browns be down 2, kick a field goal, win the game, and you still lose this bet. But this way, if you go Browns -1.5, if it happens the other way, Browns +1.5, and the Falcons kick a field goal to go up 1 to win the game, you still win that bet. Lions right here, the Lions have the opportunity, for a tie game to kick a field goal and win it, but you still wouldn't win that teaser. Now, if you buy +3, they're -1.5. Then, if they kick that field goal and just win by 3, that's a really great outlook right there. And then, for the spreads, I mean, any extra points that you can buy are always going to be better. You'd like to buy them, where they cross certain barriers like 6s, 7s, and 3s. But regardless, a +3 teaser would pay out +800, which means that if you paid $10 on the bet, you'd get 90 in total back. If you paid 100, you'd get 900 in total back. But these right here are my lines of the week. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and stay up to date on all of our future content.